Let's bring in terrorism analyst and the host of Stacklebeck Tonight, Eric Stacklebeck, and retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on. Admiral, to you first. The Pentagon says at this point the U.S. and Israel are dominating the skies, meaning they can fly over Iran night and day without really any challenge. Does that change the equation for the U.S. and Israel? Does it change the perspective? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yes, it does. So General Kane's right. He's got this air control and on occasion air dominance over Iran. We've achieved that through 900 combined 900 strikes a day. What that does is it allow us to now shift to different types of munitions. So now different aircraft can come in with with shorter range, less costly precision munitions. So this is a good thing. It allows us to burn down other stacks of munitions that are in much healthier condition. So this is a good thing for the military, but it also is indicative of that the suppression of enemy air defense mission is done. And as you mentioned, we're well into the destruction of naval capabilities mission.
Yeah, and talk about destruction. As of 16 hours ago, Eric, we also, Iran's ballistic missile capabilities were down 86%, drones down 73%. They can no longer, for all intents and purposes, mount a robust offensive. How does that change things?
Yeah, I mean, look, this joint Israeli-U.S. operation, Trace, is absolutely incredible. The results already 5 days in. And at the end of the day, I think it shows that Iran, for all its bluster, was a paper tiger. We saw this back in June in the 12-day war and with Operation Midnight Hammer. For all the bluster, and yes, a lot of ballistic missiles, no doubt, huge drone program, big threat. But at the end of the day, the combined superiority in the air, especially of the U.S. and Israel, was way too much for the Iranian regime. With the caveat, Trace, look, if Iran were to get the bomb to acquire nuclear weapons and the ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, to deliver them, that would have changed the whole game. So President Trump did what he had to do, and it was long overdue.
Yeah. You talk about the Iranian, coming from the Kurds. We talked about it a lot at the top of the show, Admiral, coming possibly from Iraq, coming in to help, maybe to help the uprising. We had retired Brigadier General John Teichert on earlier, and he thinks that would be a significant benefit to the people of Iran. Watch.
Either you find someone from within to rise up, or you create an opposition force that can take over. And there's no more effective fighters in the Middle East than the Kurds. And I call this the Syrian model, where a year ago, just like the Syrians, they found a place of refuge that they had the right equipment and the right training, and then they started to march towards the capital, Damascus in that case, Tehran in this case, and start to consolidate support.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's very optimistic, but we have also seen people who are very skeptical of this whole thing. Where do you fall in that, Admiral?
So I'm in between. I understand that a ground force is required. Our only air-only campaigns that have worked are the one where the U.S. was air-only was Libya in 2011, where we had 40,000 armed insurgents from their former army, and Kosovo in 1999, where the KLA on the ground with 100,000 plus armed personnel. You need the armed personnel. Where I'm pessimistic or cautious is that the one way to make the Iranian people like the IRGC slightly more is to have the Kurds be the liberators. That may be a tough pill for the Iranians to swallow.
Yeah, maybe so. General Jack Keane said the following, watch.
This is a systematic reduction of the entire infrastructure that does what? It sustains the regime. It is likely going to take more than a week or two just to do what I'm talking about. This is how much of a focus this really is. In other words, at the end of the day, this regime will not have much left to be able to govern or be able to repress its people. That's the intent here.
I mean, it's a very good point, Eric, because you look at this and you think, look, if the massive infrastructure, the communications, systems are down, that is detrimental if you are among the IRGC or the Basij.
Yeah, no doubt. It cripples them militarily, Trace, but also that repression machine that General Keane just alluded to. Look, at least 32,000 Iranians slaughtered by this regime in the span of just a few weeks. And if that is shut down, if the Basiji and the IRGC, which are the main culprits in that genocide upon their own people, if they're out of the picture and their infrastructure is taken out, you've got a new day, and then you have the conditions on the ground, God willing, for the people of Iran to rise up. And Trace, if this goes the right way, and this regime is toppled, and its axis, its ring of fire, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, etc., if they fall by the wayside, I really think we could be looking at a new Middle East. This is President Trump's vision. But the Iranian regime and its proxies stand in the way of that vision, but perhaps not for much longer.
Perhaps. Eric Stakelbeck, thank you very much. Admiral Mark Montgomery, thank you.